Hello and welcome back to a new video. A few weeks ago, CubeHamster showcased a slime block printer that he uses in his missile factory to store slime blocks and then basically print out or retrieve a single slime block whenever he needs one for a new missile. And later on, the Gunmaster and Cellulance also made a improved design. But I also wanted to give this a go, so I designed this machine, which has the advantage that it stores pretty much arbitrarily many slime blocks without the machine itself getting any bigger. For every 10 slime blocks it stores, you only need one observer and one sticky piston, and you can just keep this going until you run out of render distance or something. And yeah, this slime block separator right here is a little bit overcomplicated, and yeah, it's more a proof of concept than something you should actually use. But I think if you actually compact and simplify something like this, it could be a lot more resource efficient and maybe even space efficient. Let's just see how this works. You just press this button or give it a one-tick pulse in some way, and then you get a single slime block down here. You can also like redesign this part down here and get it like in another direction or something. This is just for example. And also all of these magenta blocks aren't really necessary. So you can get the slime block from here and do whatever you want with it. Yeah, and the interesting thing is that this just keeps getting pulled along, and at some point we run into this piston right here, and the machine is also able to handle the piston and the observer, which we can see in a moment. So right now we only have one slime block and the observer and the piston left, and if we press the button one more time, then we get the slime block and the sticky piston as well as the observer get pushed up here. And if we keep going, all the other observers and sticky pistons also get pushed up here and basically form a long snake going back this way, and they will just keep getting pushed. So you also need some space right next to here, but if you have enough space for all these slime blocks, you also have enough space for a couple more pistons and observers getting pushed the opposite way. Yeah, this redstone is a little overcomplicated and more proof of concept, so you probably shouldn't use this as it is, but maybe take some of the concepts here and design something yourself if you're interested in that. I think I'll just do a quick tutorial of how this works and also like an explanation of how it works, so that you can either build this yourself or just get the main ideas and then make something better out of it. Okay, we want to start with our input block somewhere around here, and just put a button on top of that. This is just to get a one-tick pulse into our actual input right here, which like this redstone dust is. There is another observer right here, which we can power with an iron trapdoor or also some other blocks, but why not an iron trapdoor? And now right here we have the slime block chain, just something like this. and this already pulls the slime block in like that. Now one thing we have to consider is that there could be a sticky piston right here, and to deal with that we also need 2 more observers like this. Just to pull that along, and that's already that part done. Now we get to the slime block separation part, which is right here with a sticky piston like that, which we will power. Actually this should be a slab or some other non-solid block with a 2 tick and a 1 tick. The order doesn't matter. And redstone going down there like that into a 3 tick delay repeater, a block redstone dust and another block to power this piston, which will just push whatever we just pulled into the side, and it has 6 ticks or 6 redstone ticks of delay, because we already had 3 redstone ticks of delay right here, and this observer might also power a piston right here, and we need to wait for that to be done retracting, so that's why we have another 3 redstone ticks. But we don't simply want this to push over, we actually want this to be a 0 tick pulse, and for that we also put a 4 tick delay repeater right here and 2 observers which power some redstone dust and a sticky piston facing down. This will remove this block also after 6 redstone ticks, so that this redstone dust and also this piston get 0 ticked, because observers update after repeaters like this. So if we try this out now, we should see a 0 tick pulse here, and then all the other blocks follow. Just like that. Next we want to pull this down after the 0 tick, before the other blocks arrive, to actually have a slime block separation right here. And we can do that just with adding a 2 tick delay repeater right here. This will unpower after 5 plus 2, so that should be 7 redstone ticks, and we'll just pull the slime block down before the rest is done being pushed over. So we can have a look at that. No, we can't, because I did something wrong. Let's try that again. Yes, the slime block gets pulled down and the rest remains over here. Yeah, now it's kind of annoying that the sticky piston is right next to the slime block, so we'll also pull that down like that. And first of all we want to extend that immediately, because it's like this originally, and we also want to redirect this redstone and make it extend a little longer, and then make it extend even longer with 2 2-tick delay repeaters right here, so that it can pull the piston back down again. Yeah, pretty much everything I do with the slime block after the separation is something you could easily change to wherever you need the slime block to end up. This is just like an idea or something how you could do it. So yeah, I'm just gonna reset this a little bit like this. So we want to have another double piston extender right here, where we can power the back piston like that. Okay, this will extend the back piston of this double piston extender, and then we just want to also power the front pistons, and we will use the same redstone dust again and grab a signal from here with a 2-tick repeater, block this off, 2 more 2-tick repeaters, and that powers the redstone again. So let's just see where that pushes the slime block. Of course it also pulls along the slime block structure up here for now, but we're gonna fix that next. So we want to have a normal piston right here and another one right here. And to power this one, we can just get our signal from nope, actually it's right here. We need to push the sticky piston back, that's why the piston is there, and the other one is right there. So we get redstone like this, more 2-tick delay repeaters. And if we were to also just hook this up directly, then we would run into another problem, which I can show, I don't know, like this maybe. If we activate this now, all these pistons extend because this observer powers this piston when it gets pushed back, and we don't want that. So we prevent that by how much delay? 1 tick right here. If we power this piston a little later, this observer doesn't activate again after getting pushed back, and that is a lot better. So let's see that again. Now it gets pushed back without activating the sticky piston, which is exactly what we want to happen. The next thing to add is to detect this observer right here and then grab the sticky piston. To detect the observer, which will end up right here. We just need to add a sticky piston right here and a normal piston right here. This will push the observer along. The sticky piston already gets powered, so we don't even need to do anything about that. And for this normal piston we want a bit of delay, and we also do not want this redstone dust to power it. So we can just add a 3-tick delay repeater with a sticky piston and an observer going into a 1-tick repeater right there. This will add enough delay so that pushing along this sticky piston observer chain will work later on. That was more trial and error than actually understanding what was going on exactly, but it works now. So we detect an observer getting pushed into this position by putting a dropper right here with an observer and redstone dust. This will give out a single pulse sometimes and 2 pulses at other times, and that's kind of annoying. So we will put a 2-tick delay repeater right here, which will turn 2 pulses into 1. If you don't know, I can show that right here. If you have something like this, the piston in the back will pulse twice. But if we put a 2-tick delay repeater right here, it only pulses once. And then we can also add an observer to turn that back into a 1 redstone tick pulse. Which is exactly what we want to do right here, so we put an observer here and a block. And then this piston will act as a T flip-flop, because this activates once when the observer gets pushed here, and the second time when this piston, the sticky piston, pulls something behind the observer, and we only want the first of those to actually do something. And what we wanted to do is to power this block right here. And then we want some redstone dust right here. This slab prevents this piston from getting powered. This slab is so that this observer doesn't power the redstone. Then we can just add a 4-tick delay repeater right here and a sticky piston. This sticky piston will grab the sticky piston that is right here. Like if this sticky piston gets pulled over here and then pushed, it ends up in this space, and before it can get pulled down from this double extender, we pull it up right here. This actually happens in the same gain tick, but a 4-tick delay repeater has a higher priority than this 2-tick delay repeater right here. So the block will always get pulled upwards and not downwards when this is active. And of course we also want a 1-tick pulse to just go back into our input down there. That should basically be the whole system. Let's try it out. Yeah, that worked. And the slime block currently ends up down there, which is still not the most convenient of places. You can basically add whatever system you want to get it out of that position, but just like one example I have right here is to put a 3-tick delay repeater like this, and then the sticky piston observer combination to get a pulse over there. And we also want to why exactly is it like this? Is that supposed to happen? No, this is supposed to happen. Why did that not happen? Oh, it gets pulled back, but we deal with it before it gets pulled back, so it's right here. Then we can use another sticky piston to pull it down, and a double piston extender to get it out of here. And because this piston down here gets pulled along, we also need to pull it back. So first of all, we want to pull it down, and we do that with a non-stick, like a block that doesn't stick to slime blocks, and a node block down there. This will pull it down. Then we also want to power the back piston 2 redstone ticks later. And let me have a look at that. Yeah. This right here pulls the piston down there back. And we also need to update the back piston after 3 redstone ticks. So we can do that like that, for example. And if we just power this right here, this happens. And if we power it again, this piston will extend and push out the slime block, and then the back piston will pull it back. So we just need to make sure that this activates twice, which we can do like this, and also need to update that sticky piston. So if we give this a pulse now, the slime block ends up down there. Now I can show something else. Command block. I'm definitely very good at typing, as you can see. This should be repeating. So now we don't get any outputs down there. And we can just do something like this. Add some observers on top. Like this. And maybe just add something else to get another input. Like this maybe. Now we can just see this in action without having to activate it all the time manually. And we can see how these excess sticky pistons and observers are being dealt with. They just get pushed along and always something activates so that the push limit never gets exceeded. And I've tried this out for quite a long distance and it never failed, so I'm pretty sure this will go on forever. It like forms these kind of partitions where it's only like 2 or 3 pistons in between. And those just get pushed along. So let's get rid of this stuff again. Yeah, this is the design that I wanted to show and kind of explain a bit. Feel free to make better designs with the same idea. This is like just my first working attempt. I didn't really feel like doing much more to this. Like, you could also have the idea to store all of your slime blocks and sticky pistons and observers and whatever else you need in some kind of chain like that, or maybe even just flying machine shape or something, to need even less stations or something like that. But at that point it doesn't really look like a missile factory anymore and is just like flying machine storage or something like that. So there's kind of like this philosophical point where it isn't really a slime block or a missile factory or whatever. But I think this still is just slime block storage or slime block printer or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so it's just like a neat thing to do. Doesn't really have many practical applications. I think I will still put this as a Word download in the description if you really want to use this. But that's it for this video. Bye!